Welcome back, trainers, and we're going to keep the Shadow Rampage going with Shadow Lugia XL Best Buddy in the Open Master League, as it did just start today. So we're going to be pairing it up with Shadow Snorlax, yet again another one here, and then Giratina. And this is a solid team I've used before. I just wanted to highlight the Lugia here because it is a very expensive thing to power up. Now, going for the Apex versus a regular Shadow doesn't really make a difference unless you purify it, and you're not even going to get the Aeroblast Plus. But then when you purify it, Aeroblast plus bonus in PvP, it's only going to apply to raids. So anybody who was curious about that, because I did see a few questions, I know there's new people all the time. So we're up against an Ursaluna. If you're thinking, why did you just swap into your Ghost with all Ghost moves up against a normal type? Because this was the option that we had here. I guess we could have went with the Lugia, seeing that high horsepower, but I'm not trying to get hit by Thunder Punch, and I just figured this was going to be the best situation, seeing that we do have the Hydreigon that it is also going to be very effective to Giratina. So we're going to swap back into our Snorlax, and they do have a counter to it. Machamp, Shadow in the back. And this is perfect here, actually, because Lugia is going to be able to put in the work with Dragon Tail. This thing is amazing. Literally, the regular Lugia is going to be ranked #1 in Master League when it's completely powered up. In the open, of course. So I don't hit all the bubbles. The reason why I do that is because I don't want them to gain any farm at all with their Hydreigon. So we have a double KO. I timed that perfectly. Let's freaking go, baby. If you do enjoy my videos, by the way, give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate that. It does help out the channel. And you guys have been knocking it out. Let's keep it going here. So we are shielding up that first one, our only shield left. And this is going to be doing a lot of damage, but Lugia is just such a tank. So that was going to be a stab, brutal swing from Hydreigon. Still able to survive, plus the Dragon Breaths, and take the win by just farming down with Dragon Tail. Next battle, we're met with a Shadow Metagross. They're going to be swapping into a Garchomp with Dragon Tail, and we're going to be doing that Dragon Tail damage right back to them. You better believe it. So something that I maybe could have farmed up a little bit more. It's not a big deal because we're going to be able to still withstand a lot of those bullet punches. Not quite get to the Aeroblast up against the Metagross here, but they are going to be able to get a decent amount of farm. So going for the Sky Attack, because why waste energy before we do go down, and is doing a decent amount to that Shadow Metagross. Now we can go in here with the Snorlax, or we can go in with the Giratina. I bring in the Giratina, and now they know my full team. The reason why I did this is because they could potentially have a Togekiss in the back, and that is going to be a little bit of trouble here. And it is going to be a Dialga, so it's looking like we could potentially pull this off. We go straight for the Shadow Ball, and we're getting a shield, swapping in the Snorlax that does have energy already built up here. Now, I think we're going to want to shield this up. Now we're shieldless. Lovely. So we're going to be building up to 2 here and see what does take place. Going for this first superpower, and they're letting it go. And then we're able to actually lick down with the Snorlax. Now we did lower our attack, so obviously we're going to be doing less, but that Metagross is very low on its health, so it doesn't really matter. Going for a Body Slam as to not drop the attack again with the superpower, and we knew they were going to shield it up anyways. Going for another Body Slam, and we take the lick. We take the win with one more lick. Alright, next battle we're met with a Dialga, and this is always a great matchup for Snorlax. Now, we could highlight the Shadow Snorlax as well, as we always do that, and I do voucher for it to be one of the best Shadows in the game as far as PvP is concerned for pretty much every league, but specifically for the Ultra and Ultra Master, as well as the Master Premier, I suppose, too. Alright, so going for a superpower. What is going on here up against this Dialga? They're going to be letting it go. So something that we did that we screwed up. What was going on? Typically, you would be able to win this matchup here comfortably, right? We went for the superpower a little bit early, as so they couldn't potentially like retreat or something like that. And since we went for the superpower early, it lowered our attack, therefore not doing as much with the lick, and then enabling them to survive with that much health. So they're bringing in a Kyogre. What do you think is in the back? What do you think is in the back? Lugia? No. Mewtwo? Probably that's exactly it. Now I already know it is a Mewtwo, so we're just going to go ahead and hold our ground here, waiting for a potential swap. Just going to go for the ominous win here. Don't really need to go for a Shadow Ball. I had to stop the recording for a second because we just got a little bit of a tremor, and anytime that does happen, I'm just a kind of prepared person. I just start getting on my actual clothes. Still, I'm kind of in my pajamas right now, so yeah. Athena came upstairs, opened the door. She was just staring at me like, "You ready to go, boss?" I was like, yeah, girl, we're going to go here in a minute. Just get ready. So anyways, that's the Alaska life. Earthquakes every single day. You don't feel all of them. But anyway, shielding up the Shadow Ball. Let's go. Calling the Psy Strike. Lugia is taking that win up against them. Swapping into our Giratina. A little bit unnecessary. but I did it anyways. And they go for Surf, and Giratina still takes the win in surviving that Surf. All right, next battle, what are we going to see? Oh, crap, this is great. Giratina, love to see it. Unless they have Dragon Pulse, there's nothing they can do. Swapping into a Togekiss, and we're going to go ahead and bring in our Lugia here. Now, unfortunately, the Dragon Tail obviously is resisted. Togekiss is a tank, and watch what happens here. I got so tilted. Okay, they get the freaking boost. I'm like, yep, of course they do. Okay. We had a great lead, and I'm thinking, I better pull this back. So they let the Aeroblast go, and we're actually able to do a ton of damage. Since the boost from the Ancient Power isn't actually going to be doubled up anymore, it's manageable and not completely ridiculous in getting walled by them, right? So we're winning that barely at the expense of using both shields here. So let's go ahead and see what we have. Getting off this Sky Attack, and we're going to be seeing an Excadrill. I do believe we actually get to one more Sky Attack here. Yeah, let's go! Alright, Lugia. So the quick move is going to be ground resisted, but unfortunately they're farming a whole crap load here. So we're going to go ahead and bring in our Giratina to go ahead and absorb these. And it is going to take about 3 drill runs to actually take us out, so we don't have to really worry about it. It's not like we have shields or anything, but Giratina is going to be basically holding it down. When they swap into their own Giratina, we immediately bring in ours. Charge moves are not going to be very effective unless you do have Outrage or Earthquake. Outrage obviously super effective. Earthquake, you know, you can run those. It'd be quite the surprise, and you'd probably get away with a whole lot. But you have to think about, will those outweigh the benefits of having Body Slam or Superpower? Superpower is a must, but Body Slam, you definitely want that too. So you probably want to stick with those. Anyways, this is getting a little bit interesting here. I figured they're going to probably try to swap at the last second to take out our Snorlax. With that Excadrill, that does have energy, so we have to be on our toes here as the clock is up. Still not going to be able to take us out, and we do have energy on the Snorlax, so we do need to be careful for them to try to snipe it. There it is, and getting off the Body Slam. I just got it to it first, so we're just throwing it. Getting that shield and doing a bit of a combo breaker, bringing in the Giratina and going for the Ominous Wind to take out that Excadrill, and then farming down their shiny Giratina with my shiny Giratina. You better believe it. Next battle met with a Togekiss with the Snorlax, and this is exactly where we would want to see it. We don't really want to go up against it with Lugia, although we can do that. As we've seen, the Aeroblast still absolutely demolishes it, even after a boost. Giratina itself can actually handle Togekiss to some extent, but with shields up, it's not looking too great, so Snorlax is perfect here. What you want to do is make sure you don't allow them to sneak a charm through. You just got to time it perfectly. So shielding up their charge move, which is going to be a Flamethrower, not going to be able to farm them down from here, so we're just going to go for another Body Slam. Seeing that we've already gotten one shield out of them, 1-to-1 shield, bringing in a Heracross, and they get extra points for being super spicy with that in the Open Master League. Gonna go ahead and bring in our Giratina with the resistance from everything. See, the Lugia is gonna be able to take a Mega Horn, but it is gonna be partially effective because of the Psychic typing. So we're just going to go ahead and stay here. Since they're not swapping, I'm thinking, is there something in the back weak to it? And say, Metagross, you better believe it. So this is great. We're just going to go ahead and stay here. Lugia is, I don't think it's going to be actually coming out for this entire battle here. They kind of back out right about now, and we take that win. Looking good. So if there, if there was one Shadow to invest in as far as a legendary, you probably are going to want to go with Mewtwo. And then I'm going to have to say Lugia is going to be up there for sure if you're into PvP. As far as using it for raids, I suppose you could for a flyer. But it doesn't have a flying quick move, so there is that. Anyways, they're going to be absorbing the Body Slam, then retreating with energy on that Lugia and bringing in a Metagross here, in which we're going to go ahead and bring in our Giratina to go ahead and handle the situation. You can let that first Meteor Mash go, no problem at all, if you are completely maxed out here. Going to go for the Ominous Wind to see if we can get a shield. And if I do recall this correctly, they're going to be doubling up on this Metagross here, which is just fantastic. And I think I'm actually going to let this go as well, holding on to both of our shields and bringing in the Snorlax to farm them down with Lick, and then building up that energy, and then having that Lugia in the back with 2 shields. It doesn't really matter if there's a Steel type when you're Lugia. You can Aeroblast it, and you're still going to be able to wipe it out, no problem at all. Alright, so we're taking them down with a lot of energy, and they're bringing in a Melmetal. Thought they were going to try to catch here, so I'm just kind of being on my toes, waiting, and we're going to shield this up because we have all this energy and we lowered our stats. We kind of want to keep it going here. Getting off the next superpower, and then we're going to immediately swap into our Lugia, which, well, not quite immediately. And they're going to be able to get to a Rock Slide, but it doesn't really matter. We'll let it go. Lugia can take, what, like 3 of these? It doesn't even really matter. And they're going to be swapping into their own Lugia. We go for a Sky Attack because going for the Aeroblast is going to take a minute. We don't really need to do all that. We do have the Snorlax in the back that's going to be able to lick it down if worse comes to worse. So we're going to let this go, hitting me with their own Sky Attack. Sounds good. And here comes another one here. So again, yeah, just shielding it up. I wanted to kind of keep it alive, showcase the Lugia here. Let's go and take them out and taking the win. Let's go. Moving it on to our next opponent. What are we going to see with that Snorlax? Oh, a mirror match. So they're going to be going for superpower right off the bat here. And that's an okay strategy, I suppose, if you know what you're going to be doing with your backline here. So they're going for that superpower. Okay. And it's a Giratina origin. So this kind of threw me off for a second. As you can see, I didn't swap immediately. So I was just kind of calculating what I need to do here. So have them throw, absorb it with the Snorlax, retreat with energy, bring in the Giratina. As much as I wanted to bring in the Lugia, I just felt like this was going to be a better matchup for us here, just for the time being, so we can hold on to that Lugia. Going for the Shadow Ball right off the bat. They're going to be letting it go, and they survive with literally 1 HP. So remember, they can have Shadow Force, which is something to consider. So yes, this was not lag. I did that intentionally. I wanted them to take me down, lower all my health, so they couldn't get any more farm with their other Pokemon here, with the whatever they bring in. But we're actually able to get to a charge move. Do I just go for Ominous Wind even though we had a Shadow Ball? They're shielding it up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Still 2 shields and Snorlax with a ton of energy, but very low on its health. So bringing it in right away, going for the superpower, which is going to be doing a decent amount here. Swapping into our Lugia, so we can use that superpower later on. That is not going to be debuffed, so we got that Snorlax in the back ready to go. Shielding up the first Meteor Mash up against the Metagross and going for a Sky Attack. Still going to be, Sky Attack's okay, but they catch you with the Snorlax. And at this point I was thinking, okay, that was pretty good. I still feel alright about winning this, but that was a decent catch. Definitely want to go for the Aeroblast when you're up against the Snorlax here. Dragon Tail doing a ton of damage. If you're thinking about running Extra Sensory on your Lugia, think again. You probably just want to go with Dragon Tail. That's just going to be the better thing all around. I've tested it before, and it doesn't really do much for you there. Alright, so going to farm them down here, surviving, because Lugia is just a tank like that. And some of the best shadows are simply going to be the tankier Pokemon, because they're not going to just be going down immediately. Bringing in the Snorlax and taking the win with a couple of farm downs there. Next battle, we're met with a Gyarados, and this is a good matchup. Okay, let's go ahead and do what we got to do here. We will be winning this if it doesn't lag or do anything crazy like that. Hitting me with an Aqua Tail, so no crunch plus debuff, and at this point we're on track for winning this matchup here. We're both going to be using a shield, by the way. And getting to another Body Slam here. As far as the Giratina, obviously Dragon Breath's going to be doing a decent amount. It's not getting stabbed, so it's not too much of a problem. But just winning the matchup so you can have alignment is what you really want to do. So winning this barely with any health and bringing in a Ho-Oh, and we're actually able to get to a Body Slam before that second Incinerate actually registers the damage, which is beautiful. And we're of course going to be bringing in our Giratina here. And we know they're going to hit us with a Brave Bird, but we can still let it go. And we know they're going to retreat after this. Let's see what they bring in. It is going to be a Yveltal. Okay, so this is a little bit of an issue, seeing that both the Pokemon that we have are going to be weak to this thing here. So since Lugia is such a tank, we can let that first one go no problem, and they're not going to really be able to farm us down. That Dragon Tail damage is doing a whole lot. We're going to be able to farm them down here, as well as build up this energy for the Sky Attack at a decent rate. So we're going to go ahead and start using our shields here, and wait for them to potentially swap back into their Ho-Oh, and bring in our Giratina when they do that. So shielding this up, of course, because if we don't, it's basically a loss, although a Shadow Ball could be enough almost to take them out. Immediately swapping into our Giratina that does have energy built up. When they do bring in their Ho-Oh, going for the Shadow Ball. Not quite enough to take them out, but we're able to farm them down. Fantastic. And as much as I wanted to get to the Shadow Ball, I actually couldn't. Got a little greedy here, but that doesn't really matter. They're throwing their energy, which is perfect. I'm just going to be bringing in Lugia that has its energy built up, going for a Sky Attack and taking that win. And there you go. There's your quick showcase with the XL level 50 Shadow Lugia. If you did enjoy it, give it a thumbs up. Thank you for watching and take care.
The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It's a very mean and nasty place, and I don't care how tough you are, it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done.
Hey! So you're finally here! Fantastic!
Touch the net. Mama, touch the net. This is the best.